Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is Captain Sanjit, and recently I had made a video regarding how to become a helicopter pilot in India. I'll put the link in the description below so that you can have a look. So I thought there's one more topic that needs to be discussed. It is regarding the cost of becoming a helicopter pilot. So the cost is one of the biggest things that most of us, 90% of us, are worried about, right? Because it's again a huge amount, and we have to think about or cater this kind of amount to become a helicopter pilot. So let me tell you, first things first, to put it straight, it costs as much as becoming an airplane pilot. So if you don't want to if you know how much it costs to become an airplane pilot, and if you have an overall idea, you can skip the video. But if you want the details, let's talk ahead. Alright, so first things first, there are no helicopter flying training schools in India. In the future, it will come up in the next, let's say, 2 to 3 years. There are plans of helicopter pilot schools that will come up in India. But overall, if you look at it presently, it is suggested that I generally suggest people to go to US and study, because the exposure is great, and secondly, of course, as there are no helicopter flying schools in India, you have to go abroad to study. Okay, and of course you have to come back and convert your license. The process is almost the same as becoming an airplane pilot, and the cost is also the same as I told you. The exams are the same, and also the RTR exam is also the same. The process, as I said, is almost the same to become a helicopter pilot, except the flying part of it. In flying, it takes almost 150 hours to become a helicopter pilot, and it takes 200 hours in case of an airplane pilot. Now you will say that we are flying less in case of helicopters and flying more in case of airplanes, then how does it cost the same, right? The issue is the per hour cost to fly a helicopter is close to 1.5 to 2 times as compared to an airplane. So let's not waste much more time. Let me talk to you about the costing to become a helicopter pilot. So I'm not talking about your cost to go to US, or your cost to stay in the US, your food and all these things. And I will also like to say that it's not only US that trains you for helicopter pilot, to become a helicopter pilot. It's also Canada, it's also New Zealand, it's also South Africa. There are many other countries which is training helicopter pilots, but I have experienced the training in US firsthand. I've also experienced a bit of training in Canada as well. It's quite okay, but the training in US, I have experienced it to be quite professional and nice, and the costing is also average. Like if you look at the costing all around the world, it's almost more or less the same. Okay, now the most used helicopter in case of pilot training is the R-22, Robinson 22. Of course, there are other helicopters also on which people train, like the Robinson 44, the Bells, the Bell 206 to be exact, or there's also Schweizers on which people train. So there's no limitation on the helicopter that you can train. The limitation is only the money. So Robinson 22 is one of the cheapest aircrafts, helicopters that you can train on. Right. So overall, I researched a bit. I called up a few schools in US as well as in South Africa. I also checked out a few schools in New Zealand. Overall, it is costing close to $55,000 to $60,000. Okay, $55,000 to $60,000 if you're training on an R-22. But if you're training on an R-44, Robinson 44, the difference, let me tell you, between a Robinson 22 and a 44 is that Robinson 22 is a 2-seater, Robinson 44 is a 4-seater. Robinson 44 is slightly more powerful than the Robinson 22. As we know, we have to get our training on an aircraft that is present in India. So most of the people fly close to 140 to 145 hours on the R-22, and the rest, let's say 5 to 10 hours on the R-44. That's a more economical way of doing it. So again, that is because R-44 is present in India and R-22 is not there in India. Okay, and generally what happens is you have to do a small skill test over there, which is 45 minutes of day and 45 minutes of night on the R44, and that is accepted by the DGCA here. Okay, so overall, as I was saying, overall it costs close to $60,000, $55,000 to $60,000 US dollars. Okay, I'm talking in general about US dollars, and you can convert it into the present Indian rupee whenever it is. Okay, if you're flying on the R44, it is close to $85,000 to $90,000. Okay, so that is why I'm saying that you should train on the R22 initially, okay, for most of the hours. So it is, like I said, it is $55,000 to $60,000. Now there's another thing called as instrument rating, which many people don't do. What I want to say is, it's another $10,000 to do your instrument rating, but do it because in your future it will help you a lot. Okay, so $10,000, let's say close to 8 lakh rupees, but it is a good investment towards your future. So instrument rating is basically, in layman terms, it will help you to fly in low visibility conditions. Okay, or maybe that's how we can summarize it. It helps you fly in low visibility conditions. Okay, so instrument rating will help you when a company is considering to promote you from a co-pilot to a captain. Instrument rating is almost mandatory. So if you do not have the necessary hours and the necessary ratings, this promotion from a co-pilot to a captain will stay behind. Most of the helicopter pilots in their initial training phase do not consider doing their instrument rating, of course, because of the cost, and because thinking that why does a helicopter pilot need IFR or IR rating. But yeah, spend this $10,000 and you'll thank me later. I had done it during my training time. Many good people were there to guide me and tell me that IR is absolutely necessary. So I had done it, and I got the benefit of it later. Many people who didn't do it had to go abroad and do it later. Okay, because the companies may or may not spend that kind of money on you to do your instrument rating, right? So if you have it in advance, it's an added advantage. Now if you want to do your instructor rating, it's another $10,000 again. So overall, if you spend close to $70,000 to $75,000, your overall thing should be done, overall training should be done. Okay, that is not including your accommodation. Okay, there are a lot of charges involved in this particular case. Your instrument rating, your skill tests, and all these things put together will cost close to $70,000 to $75,000. This estimate is on the maximum end. If you're flying on R22 and finishing it with an R44, that is. If you fly expensive aircraft, there's no limit to how much you can spend. So yeah, that is a raw estimate. So without instrument rating, it can be $55,000 to $60,000, close to $65,000 just for your training. If you're doing your instrument rating as well, you can consider $70,000 to $75,000 overall put together. The cost may vary plus minus $5,000, but this is the overall expense to become a helicopter pilot. I know it's expensive, but this is what is the going rate presently. So happy landings, guys. Cheers.